Social media makes us feel like we need to have everything figured out in our 20s. Our jobs, our relationships, our finances, they all need to be perfect. But here's the truth, most of us are just making it up as we go along. Hi everyone, my name is Hazal, I'm a UK doctor, and on this channel my best friend Lydia and I share advice on adulthood, productivity and self-development. Many of us carry the weight of expectation, the high grades, the career pressures, the family pride, the good student's burden, and still wonder, why don't I feel like I have it all figured out? But you don't have to. Most of us are still becoming, and that's not a flaw, that's a fact. So today let's break down what it really means to have it all figured out in your 20s, beyond the highlights reels, pressures and expectations. Firstly, social media versus reality. Social media is a highlight reel, a curated version of success. You see someone's graduation post, but not the breakdowns, the doubts and the late nights that got them there. So you can't compare your behind the scenes to someone's milestone snapshots. And you need to remind yourself that real growth, confusion and transformation is often not visible online. For many of us, especially women navigating spaces we weren't historically included in, we're still learning how to take up space. So it can be easy to compare yourself to others that seem like they have it all. But in reality, there's so much you don't see behind closed doors. You need to remember that as humans, we're wired to seek validation and protect our image. So it's just easier to share the success stories, the wins, the polished parts, not the breakdowns or the parts that make us feel vulnerable or behind. But real growth doesn't always look good. It looks like being unsure in meetings. It looks like crying after hard conversations. It looks like starting from scratch again. So my advice on how to change your outlook on social media is to follow pages that reflect your reality and your potential. And if needed, set boundaries with social media. For example, you can mute those accounts that trigger comparison and remind yourself that a 90-second reel you see cannot compare to the 24 hours that person lived that day. Curiosity is better than certainty. Unpopular opinion, you don't need a 5-year plan. There is power in staying open and curious. You need the courage to follow what lights you up. What makes you excited to get up in the morning, even if you don't know where that's going. Reframe not knowing as freedom, not failure. In school, success was about getting the right answers. Success was about passing exams and getting the highest grades. But in real life, it's about asking better questions. What am I interested in? What makes me curious? What are my values and passions? You might not currently have the answers, but if you explore your passions and your interests, it will lead somewhere. One of my favorite sayings is pull the thread and see where it takes you. That internship you're unsure about, try it. That hobby that makes no career sense, explore it. That new city, that course, that side hustle, test it. Growth comes from experimentation. So my advice is make space for what interests you, not what impresses others. Curiosity isn't childish, it's wise. It keeps you open to new paths you can't currently see. Following a system versus creating a life. In your teens and early 20s, the path was clear. School and university gave you a structure to follow. Study, test, grade, repeat. As a high achiever, you probably excelled at that system and it gave you a sense of purpose and order. But in adulthood, there's no syllabus. I can say firsthand that life after structure is so confusing. You graduate and suddenly the steps disappear. You're not just building a career, you're building your life. And that can feel absolutely terrifying. If you're the first in your family to do this, the first doctor, the first graduate, the first creative, the first entrepreneur, you're not just walking a new path, you're making it. And the lack of blueprints can be disorientating, and no one prepares you for that feeling. But it's okay, that's not failure, that's life unfolding. So my advice is to give yourself grace. That lack of structure isn't a personal setback, it's a sign to build your own. Create new routines that support you and take on this exciting opportunity to build your own path. You're allowed to evolve. You are not who you were at 18 or 21 or even 6 months ago, and that's a good thing. Let go of the pressures to be consistent with a version of yourself that no longer fits. Just because you told your family you want to be a lawyer at 12 doesn't mean you owe them that dream at 25. I've changed my goals, my mindset, my environment, not because I failed, but because I grew. Evolving and growing is actually such a good thing. Who wants to be the same person they were 5 years ago? Changing your paths, goals, and values is healthy. So my advice is to let your growth be part of your excellence. Give yourself space to reflect frequently and ask questions like, what do I want now? Who am I becoming? What's no longer aligned with my interests and values? Reinvention is not a detour, it's a journey. Redefining what it means to figure it out. When we say figuring it out, we often mean career clarity, financial stability, and relationship security. But what if figuring it out means something deeper? What if it means being anchored in your values, knowing how to care for yourself, staying excited by your own life, even when it's messy? To me, figuring it out means solidifying my values, doing meaningful work, and staying excited by my own life, no matter what it is I'm doing. So instead of asking, have I arrived? Ask yourself, am I going in a direction that feels true to myself? My advice to you is to redefine progress. Celebrate inner milestones, like setting boundaries, making aligned choices, and trying again. Figuring it out isn't the finish line. It's a rhythm of learning, adjusting, and trusting yourself. Your 20s are not about performing perfection. They are about becoming more grounded, more free, and more you. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this video here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in a new video next time. Bye.